This little guy, combined with Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver, still to this day makes for one of the best Pokemon experiences out there. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were rife with performance issues, but I muscled through it because I am the problem. And overall, I have to say, I really did enjoy my experience. I enjoyed seeing Pokemon in the overworld, and I mean, Serebii, right? How can you not love that design? But when the DLC hit, I couldn't get past the performance issues. These games have a really good core. I really like the concept, but they just need work. And the DLC felt worse than the base game. So I decided to bust out some of my favorites and see if they were still as good as I remember. And honestly, this wasn't easy at all. I pulled out my old special edition 3DS and it turns out there's a Wi-Fi issue, so it doesn't work at all. And on top of that, my Pokewalker was dead. Easy fix though, right? Just needed some new batteries. So I decided to steal my wife's 3DS. Thanks, love. Replace the battery in this bad boy and go through all of the steps to reset it so I could go on this beautiful journey one more time. Now, first off, these games are old. Even the remakes are almost 14 years old at this point, let alone the originals being released back in 2000.
Why are you so old?
When I was a kid first playing these, there was no internet really at all, at least not accessible to me, so there was no way to spoil what this game had to offer. All I knew when I saw the marketing for this was that I loved Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and whatever this game was, it had new Pokemon, it looked awesome, and I wanted it now. Man, and when I got this game, I was blown away. They added new story with these legendary dogs, there was new points of engagement almost at every turn, there were 100 new Pokemon, including some of my favorite starters. It's so hard to pick. Cyndaquil, Totodile, and Chikorita as well. They're fine, I guess. They added new evolutions with Espeon and Umbreon, who represented the new day-night cycle. They also introduced the Steel type, the Dark type, they introduced breeding for the first time, and shiny Pokemon. And this would forever change the way people played Pokemon games. This changed the game for competitive, and shiny hunting became a thing, encouraging many people like myself to spend countless hours wasting time looking for some sparkles and some different colors on their Pokemon.
Oh my God!
And I was absolutely shocked to find out that not only did they do all of this to what was already a fun game in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, but when you beat the Elite Four at the end of the game, they added an entire redux of the Kanto region, the first region from Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. It was like magic. I'm back? I could do the gyms again? Imagine Pokemon making a game right now. Shoot, let's even say it's $70, since that seems to be where games are going these days. That included 2 full regions worth of content. You can't, can ya? But that's what it was like to get these games back then. Except they weren't even full console price. I'm pretty sure these games back in the day were like 30 or 40 bucks brand new. And even these remakes when they were released were only $49.99 when they came out. It's mind-boggling to me. HeartGold and SoulSilver did a fantastic job taking the magic from the originals and even adding in plot points from the 3rd definitive edition called Pokemon Crystal, which included an emphasis on Suicune of the 3 legendary dogs. In addition to this, what they did is they updated the mechanics of the game to the 4th generation of Pokemon, because right before this, we had Diamond and Pearl release. They also added Pokemon following you. They added the Battle Frontier from Pokemon Emerald, a new Safari Zone, legendaries from all the previous Pokemon games, a Pokeathlon, event Pokemon. This game was a downright perfect remake of the originals, and they added all of these additional bonuses onto it. And if all of that wasn't enough, they're bundled in this incredible package of Pokemon bliss was this guy, the Pokewalker. The Pokewalker was a little pedometer that was introduced with the game that allowed players to take Pokemon from their game on a walk with them, where they could catch Pokemon, find items, and even level up. It's not a very complex design, but the simplicity is really where it shines. Basically, the way it worked is you could pick a Pokemon from your PC to go on a stroll with you, and there are different paths that you can choose from. And these paths contain specific Pokemon and items that you could normally only access much later in the game. Kind of like an actual route in a normal Pokemon game. And I mean, look how cute this thing is. Once you're on your walk, you're rewarded what are called watts. Watts are basically currency that you get for walking every 20 steps. So 20 steps equals 1 watt. And the amount of steps that you take can impact the rarity of the Pokemon you'll find on the path. On each stroll, you're able to catch 3 Pokemon and get 3 items, and then you can transfer them back into the game. This makes for some really cool opportunities even early on in the game. For example, I'm a really big fan of Nidoking, and And in one of the first paths, you can actually catch a Nidoran. So what do? I walk a lot, I catch a bunch, and then I keep one that has the best nature. And if you really invest in these steps, you could even get started with something like a Dratini. So you could start working on building a Dragonite from the very beginning of the game. But wait, there's more! Pokemon that go on a stroll with you gain a level each time you go on a stroll, and they also gain some happiness to boot. And this is really great because Togepi and Eevee evolved after gaining a significant level of happiness. So you could do a bunch of walking, raise their happiness, get them evolved early, and win. And we can all agree that Espeon is the greatest evolution, right? Comment down below with your favorite evolution. And finally, you could exchange with a friend's Pokewalker to receive a gift which would result in the latest team being available to battle in the Viridian City Trainer House, where you could battle them every day for some battle points that you could exchange for items. What a thing to just bundle into your game. And you thought this thing was basic. It's not like the Pokeball Plus from the Pokemon Let's Go games where it was way less cool, you didn't have a screen, and it still cost $49.99 by itself. The same price as these two bundled together. Well, at least the Pokeball Plus used to be $49.99. I think the biggest thing for me that still stands out for the Pokewalker over and above Pokemon Go is the equality of experience. Don't get me wrong, Pokemon Go does a really great job community building through raids and events. I really enjoyed the time that I played Pokemon Go. But the reality is, Pokemon Go can only fully be experienced if you live in an area that has a lot of Pokestops and players. If you live out in the middle of Ohio somewhere, your experience isn't going to be very good. Whereas the Pokewalker, everyone has the exact same experience. You choose your route, the Pokemon are always there, you have direct access to the game, and even if you don't have a Pokemon strolling with you, you're still generating watts by walking, which unlocks new routes, which gives you access to more Pokemon and more items. What if I run out of Pokeballs, potions, or raid passes in Pokemon Go? Microtransactions! The Pokewalker, it just auto heals your Pokemon after every battle. You never run out of Pokeballs. You just catch the 3 Pokemon, transfer them in, and carry on. Now, obviously, the Pokewalker is old, it's simple, but I think the premise here actually nails one of the main Pokemon Go goals better than Pokemon Go does, and actually incentivizing people to go out and stay active and walk. And it enhances the overall game experience that's already really, really good with Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver. Now, there is one downside to this, and that is that once the Pokewalker and this game stopped getting support, there were special event paths that would be unlocked through different events that are no longer accessible. But honestly, even with the loss of support, it's still just as fun as it ever was, and this game and this experience as a whole is absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, the Pokemon Company needs to, reprioritize a bit. I would absolutely love it if they came out with something like a Pokewalker 2.0. And it wouldn't even take much to make this a better experience than it already is. You stick with the simplicity, you stick with the sprites, and you can keep your cost low and still bundle this into another game. All they would need to do is expand on some functionality just a little bit. Maybe allow you to catch more Pokemon, add more paths, add a new variety of Pokemon or new items that you can get. And I honestly think that even today, if this was released in 2023 or beyond, it would still be incredibly successful. Why? Because it's fun. But will Game Freak ever do this? I don't think so. Ironically, for a company that talks about wanting people to have these fun, delightful experiences, and they have the kind of capital to back it, doesn't seem like they're actually focused on meeting some of that stated vision, as much as, of course, money. And to be fair, for better or for worse, it's working. They're still making insane amounts of money. And it's really too bad because if you really want to experience the full package, it's really expensive. If you're not like me and you didn't keep an old copy that you already had from back when it released, a complete package with the Pokewalker included can cost you upwards of $300 or more. Now, there might be some ways to find it cheaper, but you're still talking hundreds of dollars. And that's not even to mention the DS, DS Lite, or 3DS that you would need to actually play the game. So take notes, Game Freak, since you're obviously watching my videos. Millions of us loved and still love Pokemon. And the more cool stuff you do like this, the more excited your fans are going to be. You want to continue to win their loyalty? Think about something like this. Oh, and maybe ditch those microtransactions, huh? But who knows, maybe we'll see a third remake of Gen 2. Honestly, that would be pretty hype. I'd be absolutely down for something like that. Although if they did that, I really hope they would put a little bit more work in than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Kind of feel bad for all the Gen 4 fans out there. Those games were not as exciting as they could have been. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to see more like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya!